Hey there, and welcome to this lesson on fingerstyle guitar playing and Travis picking in particular. What we're going to do is we are going to learn the very intro to Dust in the Wind by Kansas, but then we're really going to take a look at just that finger picking pattern and how it can be applied in other places to your own writing, to different chords, different styles, different rhythms, all sorts of good stuff like that. And believe it or not, you can get a lot of traction. You can get a lot of bang for your buck out of just this one little piece. So we're not doing the whole song, but trust me, if you can learn the intro, then you're definitely prepared to tackle the rest of the song. And this is a great place to kind of bust into fingerstyle and finger picking playing and get a little detail on Travis picking itself. All right, so let's get started. To start things off, I'm going to hold a C major chord, and I want you to pay very close attention to what my right hand is doing here with my finger picking, okay? I'm only going to be using my thumb and my first two fingers, and that's kind of the whole story with Travis picking. Travis picking refers to just picking with these three fingers, all right? So what I'm going to do here is on holding a C, I'm going to actually kind of label my strings here. If you look very closely, I'm going to label these two notes my outside strings, okay? This is my thumb being on the fifth string and my middle finger being on the second string, all right? So these are my outside strings, okay? My inside strings are going to be these two strings right here. That'll be my thumb on the fourth string and my index finger on the third string, all right? So when I play my inside strings, it'll look like this. It'll be my thumb and my index finger. And then when I play my outside strings, it'll be my thumb and my middle finger, all right? So outside strings, inside strings. Outside strings, inside strings. And that's how I want you to start off practicing, is just doing those individually one at a time like that. Your thumb plays the fifth string, your middle finger plays the second string, then you switch, your thumb plays the fourth string, and your index finger plays the third string, all right? So outside strings, inside strings, outside strings, inside strings. Just keep doing that, get the hang of it, speed it up, all right? And that'll get us pretty far here, all right? The last thing we have to do to actually play the picking pattern, we're almost there, believe it or not, we're gonna pick our outside strings together at the same time, all right, like this. All right, so that's when I hit both of them. I'm just gonna say the word both. Anytime you hear me say the word both, then I'm going to hit both the outside strings. Then after that, I just go inside, outside, inside. So it's both inside, outside, inside, both inside, outside, inside, both inside, outside, inside, both inside, outside, inside. All right? That's the pattern. That's the finger picking pattern, all right? And it's going to go through the entire intro, all right? So once you've got that figured out, obviously you're going to start slow and start speeding it up. One problem that I see a lot of people play when I teach this, a lot of people forget to do a quarter note when they hit both strings together. So the timing there is 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and... So when you hit those both notes, let them ring out, all right? Don't rush to the next note like this. That doesn't sound right. It turns into a measure of 7/8 instead of being in 4/4. All right? So now that you got the finger picking pattern under control, you're actually ready to play the rest of the song. From there, we just go from a C major to a C major 7 to a C add 9 to a C. Then to A sus2, A sus4, A minor, and A sus2. C add 9, C major 7, C add 9, and then A minor, A sus2, A sus4, and A minor. All right? Now that seems like a complete mess of chords. There is actually a pattern going on through that whole thing. It's 4 measures of a C, 4 measures of an A minor, 4 measures of a C, 4 measures of an A minor. That's pretty basic. But what about those little weird additions, the major 7s and the add 9s? Well, if you just look at the notes on my second string, it's really simple. It's only doing a 3-note pattern. It's going from the note C to the note B to the note D. And then it just repeats, C, B, D, C, B, D, C, B, D, C, B, D. So if you actually think about it, you've got groupings of 4 for the chords, 4 Cs, 4 As, 4 Cs, 4 As. But then you've got this grouping of 3 that kind of layers in on top of it, and it makes it feel like it's kind of, they never link up. But, eventually they do, and it's just kind of a strange pattern. But watch what happens on my second string here. I'll just count out the notes there. It goes C, B, D, 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 C. and that's when the verse would actually start. Now, we're not going to go through the verse in this song, or in this lesson, but definitely, I mean, once you've gotten this under control, you're definitely ready to try out the rest of it. There are going to be a few small changes, but some of those changes are what I want to talk about. Now that you've got the idea of this entire intro down, let's take a look at this pattern a little further and what we can do with it. So we're starting off here on C, right? So the simplest thing we could do to apply this elsewhere is to just start onto a different chord, and a chord that uses these 4 strings. So the one I'm going to pick right now is A7, all right? It's going to give us a little bluesy sound. 7th chords are always bluesy. So now I'm going to play like, Kansas, Dust in the Wind isn't a blues song, but we can apply it to the blues. So here's my A7, and check it out. Same exact finger picking pattern, all right? Both inside, outside, inside. Both inside, outside, inside. To make it a little bluesier, I could shuffle it. So instead of 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and it's 1, 2, a 3, a 4, a 1, 2, a 3, a 4, a 1, 2, a 3, a 4. All right, that's starting to sound a little bluesy. Maybe I stay on those strings and do a D9, back to A, and then an E, D, A. So, I mean, I think that sounds great. I think it sounds pretty bluesy and kind of, pokey. And, for me, like, I grew up as a metal player, so to go from metal guitar player to all of a sudden have access to this, these nice little bouncy little acoustic riffs was really cool. And I learned it really just from this song. It's a constant pattern you can apply elsewhere. Here's the important thing about this pattern. If you really watch what the thumb is doing, it's doing something awesome. It's just countering, or it's pedaling back and forth between 2 strings there. So on A, for example, watch the thumb. And if I get rid of the other fingers completely, then you'll see the thumb is just doing this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's pretty cool to train your thumb to pedal back and forth between 2 strings like that while your other fingers are doing a different pattern completely. All right. However, what if we wanted to do a chord like G? All right. Well, G has a note down here on the 6th string. So what we could do is we could hold this note on the 6th string, and then I could keep my middle finger and my first finger in the same spot. I could keep them on these 2 strings right here, but I would have my thumb, instead of having my thumb go back and forth like this, I would have my thumb go back and forth like this. I'd skip that 5th string altogether. So these would be my outside strings, and these would be my inside strings. So my inside strings stay the same, but my outside strings, my thumb just moves down. So now I could play a G chord like this, all right? I could hold a G, and you can see my thumb is now skipping a string when it does that pattern. And you'll also see that since I'm not playing the 5th string, I don't even need a finger on that string. Same thing with the 1st string. I can take off my pinky completely. So here's a G, here's a C, here's an F, G, and then C. All right. So pretty cool options here, just taking some simple open chords and applying the same pattern to it. So the last element to spicing up these Travis picking ideas and applying them to yourselves is to change some of the melody notes. So your thumb is doing some consistent stuff, but the higher notes will actually be changing randomly back and forth and within a key. My idea here in A7 will be as follows. I'll go this time to a D7 and an E7 to make it like a 12-bar blues, and I'll just throw in this little scale run here, E, F sharp, G sharp, A, and that'll kind of get me into the very beginning of the progression. And this sounds like a whole completely different song altogether. Check it out. And then to D7. And then to E, D, A. All right, so that's it here for today. Thank you for watching. Please, if you enjoy this, like and subscribe, get a hold of me or leave a comment. All that kind of stuff actually helps. So I will plan on seeing you next time.